DETV Sports Update is powered by DART, Delaware's transit service. Moving forward.
And the 2025 NFL season has come to a close, and the Eagles are Super Bowl champions for the second time in franchise history. What a weekend it was. We welcome in here to DETV Sports on maybe the happiest Monday of our show's entire existence here. Nick Alessandrini joined by the crew, Jason McCall and Matthew Maurer. We are here to break down the Super Bowl 59. We're also going to dive into some off-season things in the NFL and then round out with some basketball here towards the end of the show. But before we continue, again, the Eagles, Super Bowl champions. And what a season it was, guys. It was back, I believe, in 2019 when our phenomenal director, producer, Dennis Pritchett had his Tampa Bay Buccaneers as Super Bowl champions. And happy to have my squad join the show here and with Dennis holding up the Lombardi Trophy. So, again, it's been a phenomenal weekend. Jason, I'm sure you were excited to see the birds. There it is, Dennis. Put it back on the screen. Super Bowl Victory Monday. What a season it was. And, of course, Jason, how are you feeling here on a Monday? Obviously, you know, a big-time game yesterday. I wish it was a better game almost, guys. I mean, the only one you guys both had, or Matthew with the score, was the closest here. We'll dive into our predictions and all that later. But initial reaction here, guys. You guys were very good sports last night and today. Appreciate you showing up here to this evening and to show your support and for the birds. How are we feeling, Jason? How are you feeling? What are your thoughts on that performance quickly? We're going to dive into it, but just initial reaction as we sit here on a Super Bowl championship Monday. Oh, he wants a camera early on.
Belt the you-know-what. That's what the game was last night. It was not close. It wasn't fair. It was belt the you-know-what from the beginning. And for all 60 minutes, they applied pressure to the Chiefs' offense and defense. It was no contest. This game was over midway through the second quarter, and there would be no Mahomes magic. But to all you Eagles fans, congrats. You finally made it to the adult table. You know, people with 2 or more rings. We left a chair out for you. You now had.
Good. Look at this new table we got. It's good.
You can now have the big piece of chicken. But remember, it took you 100 years to get 2. So we're right there with you. But congrats.
Little subtle shot at the end, but again, impressive that you gave them the props they deserve there. And you said it. It was a beatdown yesterday. Again, I didn't see that coming. Somebody, though, that had the Eagles by 2 scores, Matthew Maurer, a 49ers fan, but been on the Eagles since the beginning of the season there. And they complete a phenomenal season, 18 straight victories, the most, or 18 victories, the most in franchise history. They get the 18-point triple or 3-score win over the Chiefs last night. So how you feeling? What did you think your initial reaction after watching that I'm not sure if you watched the whole game if you needed to, but how was your initial reaction there?
I watched the whole game just because I was shocked by how pedestrian the Chiefs looked offensively. I mean, Pat Mahomes looked like Jackson Mahomes. It was bad out there. I mean, it was the Chiefs tackles, they should just quit. Because, I mean, I'll be honest. I'm going to give a little bit of credit to the Chiefs, more than I think most people are looking at. They did a very good job containing Jalen Carter. They had the center and the guards played well. The problem was, and I don't know if they were doubling, I think they were doubling at times, that left no help for the tackles. And the tackles were just overwhelmed by Sweat and Williams. They could not do anything. And I give the Chiefs a lot of credit. They neutralized Saquon, but the problem is it gave Hurts the opportunity to get some chances to throw downfield. He did pretty good with those chances. And he extended plays. And at the end of the day, other than the one interception that he had, it was pretty dominant. And I think that defensive line really set the tone. I don't think there was anything that the Chiefs could do. And it was just nasty.
It was I mean, from start to finish, they got out early. That big couple interceptions in the first half, very telling. They go up, I believe, 7 or 10 to nothing, and then they come right back, another 3 and out immediately for Kansas City. As Matt said, defense set the tone early. But for you guys, having seen, and again, not a shot here, but the Chiefs have been so dominant the last couple of years. Did you guys like to see finally the Chiefs go down in that big stage and not get the 3? But I mean, having ousted all of our teams since 2017, they've sent us all home in the playoffs over those years.
Right.
How was that to see them finally go down?
I mean, yeah. I mean, you're
But not overjoyed. You're just like,
not,
it is
not,
what it is.
not overjoyed. I mean, because you kind of want your team to do it.
Yeah, for sure.
But at the same time, yeah. I mean, it was to only see Taylor Swift on camera like 2 or 3 times the whole game.
Yeah, but I think the over/under in Vegas was set at 8.5.
and it was well under that.
Yeah, well
So-
under that.
Yeah.
So I mean, to see the Chiefs lose, it was cool. Although at the expense of your team winning, I don't like Eagles fans like that.
That's right. That's true. I'm the exception, but yeah, you're right.
But yeah, it was cool to see the Chiefs lose. I mean, because they've been everybody's target for so long. 7 straight AFC championships.
Man, that's crazy to say.
Been in the last 5 Super Bowls in a row, something crazy like
right,
that.
5 in a row, or I think five in a row from home.
No, not 5 in a row, like some
5 total.
5 total, like in the last whatever years. But yeah, they lost, so it was cool. But we all felt all year long. We knew that they were going to win games. They're winning games by like barely winning, like 1-score games.
Yeah.
But it felt like something was off the entire year, the last 2 years.
And that's what I'm saying. And that's what I felt 2 years ago, and they still ended up winning. And that's what messed with a lot of people's heads this year was we saw them do it before.
Yeah.
Why can't they do it again? I think the difference was just how dominant this Eagles team, as we said before the year, on paper, and then they were able to execute here down the stretch. But it was a weird seeing them perform like that last night. I think it was a weird situation. We haven't really seen that.
I'll say this: it's the Chiefs' problem through most of their reign has been the lack of wide receiver talent, consistent wide receiver talent. They've won, but it's been more of the Kelsey show and play action passing, but this ain't the same Travis Kelsey. There's no Tyreek Hill over the top. You brought in Hollywood Brown to be that guy, and he wasn't that guy. Rashee Rice is injured, so you still don't have that speed threat. And what the hell happened to Sky Moore?
He might have been. I think he was inactive yesterday.
But you know what I'm saying. But like all the receivers they've brought in to replace the production that Hill was giving them hasn't really panned out.
And to another point, and to Matthew's point earlier, was the offensive line. I mean, they were struggled all year, right? And we've seen that. We saw that in that game against the way that Brady and the Bucks beat them back in the Super Bowl, is getting that pressure. And to Matt's point, it was on the outside this year's Super Bowl, but that offensive line was beat up. They were really hurt at tackle, as Matt said. And then you moved Joe Tooney, who's an all-pro guard, one of the best in the game at guard. They moved him out to tackle, and he just could not stop those guys on the outside. Turntables. I mean, it was just 3 seconds. Not a lot that Mahomes could do. I think, as Matt said again, they set the tone early, and then he was jumpy the rest of the game. After taking those hits on the first 2 drives, he was tucking that ball early. He was trying to get rid of it quick. He was something that we haven't seen. He was sped up, and we don't see Mahomes get sped up in a lot of these teams.
I mean, and I got to bring a stat up. I got to bring it up now because it is crazy. 6 sacks with 0 blitzes. I want to say it again. 6 sacks, 0 blitzes. That means that the front 4
they ate up
and the front 7 were just manhandling the offensive line. Like dominant. Like, I've never seen Mahomes get smacked around that much in a game. Probably since Texas Tech. Honestly, like he's in college, but
it might have been his worst performance.
I mean, but I'll give it credit. Hats off. Vic Fangio, you were 0-8 against Mahomes until last night.
And what a way to end that drought.
What a way to break the drought, bro.
Well, let's see if we can roll some of these highlights before we dive deeper into it. I don't know if we're going to take a shot or not, Dennis. Let's see what we got here as we're going to dive right in here. It's a Super Bowl 59, and then we're going to break it down some more for everybody at home potentially as we get this thing going. As you see the intros here, both done live for the first time in Super Bowl history. You had John Hamm for Kansas City and then Bradley Cooper for the Eagles here in the introductions for Super Bowl 59 down in New Orleans. Guys, it said it was about a 10-to-1 fan ratio. Almost sounded like a home game down there for the Philadelphia Eagles. So the green and white, they traveled here in this one. And going to start it early here with Hurts and the Eagles. This was the big one. Jahan Dotson, double move on the drive here on the outside. He's tackled at the 1. And then, of course, we know all what's coming next. It's going to be Jalen Hurts And that offense coming up here with the tush push, Matthew's favorite play. Touchdown Eagles early here in the first quarter. They take a 7-0 lead, 10-0 here. The defense, though, got it early. They were after him, as we mentioned, able to bring him down 6 times, 16 pressures, no blitzes. And then later on, here, Mahomes, a big third down here and intercepted.
Exciting
Cooper DeJean
whites.
going the other way. The
Let's
rookie
go,
out
baby.
of Iowa, one of the big offseason additions for Howie Roseman and the Eagles, into the end zone. And that kind of really, not set the tone, but really put things into perspective. 17-0. This was going to be tough for Kansas City. And then this one, Bond, playing there, zone coverage in the middle of the field, doesn't see him, does Mahomes, and a heck of a catch for a middle linebacker there to snag that one, and it would lead to this. A.J. Brown on the mesh across here, coming on the under route, has it. Easy throw and catch there for a touchdown. 24-0, guys, at the half for the Eagles, and it wouldn't stop. 24-0 in the third. Hurts extending the play. Saquon down the sideline. Couldn't get it on the ground, but had 6 catches in this game. That was probably the biggest one there. Get them down. They would kick a field goal. Then this one kind of put it on ice. 27-0. Devontae Smith, deep post down the middle of the field on the money. An absolute perfect throw on the drop-in by Hurts. 27-0. Things wouldn't get better. Big fourth down, there. 27-0. Avonte Maddox making an appearance. And this thing was a blowout. 40-22. The Eagles get the victory. As you see, Nick Sirianni, who we're going to talk about here in a little while, who a lot of people wanted him fired last year. It was probably my most visually upset show I've done here on DETV back then, if you guys remember. The red face and how angry I was getting. This is why Nick Sirianni finally getting some respect that he deserves here. A Super Bowl champion. Okay, you want a Super Bowl? No, we're not going to do this today, Matt. Eagles beat the Chiefs 40-22. Here's what Jalen Hurts had to say after the game. I'm not sure we have the audio, Dennis, coming up here. And we don't. We're going to keep, here we do. Not for us, but for everybody at home, potentially. Jalen just kind of reminisces. He says, hey, if the doubts are going to get us a world championship, and there he is. MVP at Disney World today on the parade in Orlando. Disney World? There you go. So what a game there as the Eagles rout the Chiefs. Again, not a great game to watch if you weren't an Eagles fan or a Chiefs fan, but wasn't the most entertaining, but they got it done. Jalen Hurts, 17-22, 221 yards, 2 touchdowns. Did have that interception that Matthew alluded to. 11 carries, 72 yards, and a touchdown on the ground. So 3 touchdowns, again, over close to 300 yards of offense. He was phenomenal, becomes the 4th black quarterback all time to win a Super Bowl.
4th.
And he has been phenomenal in that game. So let me give you guys a statistic. There's only a handful of quarterbacks that have an All-Pro and a Super Bowl on their resume. You ready for the list? Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, and Patrick Mahomes. Anything stand out about those 4 guys? Hall of Famers. And now Jalen Hurts enters that list with the first-team All-Pro from a couple years ago, and now the Super Bowl MVP
what we doing here, man?
and championship. I think he's on a Hall of Fame trajectory. We'll see.
Let's let his career play out, man.
But I'm just saying, he's a phenomenal job. Big game guy for Jalen Hurts. If we can now put up those images. Let's start with image A here, Dennis, just to highlight how good Jalen Hurts was. And there you have it there. The highest EPA per dropback in a Super Bowl ever. He's on that list now at number 1. Again, just to give you something, now we'll throw image B up for you just to show you kind of the playoff run that he had as well. Again, check out those numbers. I mean, just unbelievable once he gets into the postseason. He did it again. He's now outplayed Mahomes twice.
He's still under 1,000 yards in the playoffs.
In the Super Bowl. He also has the Super Bowl rushing record for combined rushing quarterback record there, passing Steve Young. I don't know, guys. Let's talk a little bit about Jalen Hurts. Did that change your perspective after seeing him do that last night? Been to 2 Super Bowls in the last 3 years. He's outplayed Mahomes twice, only with the 1 victory coming last night. Your guys' thoughts on Jalen Hurts' performance last night? Did he surprise you at all, and where do you stand on him now?
No, he didn't surprise me. I mean, because we know that Jalen Hurts has this in him when he actually plays a complete game, and last night he played a complete game. Like, we're not surprised with Jalen. He was drafted as high as he was for a reason.
Behind all those other guys in that class,
he
too.
played at Alabama for a reason, played at Oklahoma for a reason. He's been starting quarterback of the Eagles for a reason. We know he has this in him. The problem is he hasn't always done this in a consistent manner. That's the only problem we have with Jalen Hurts. Like, he doesn't always pass the eye test. He passed it last night.
Yeah.
But he doesn't always do it consistently, which is why people still think other quarterbacks are better. But at this moment, right now, for last night's game, he's the king of the hill. So I'll give him credit for last night's performance.
Again, in that class, Matthew was taken behind Tua Tagovailoa, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Jordan Love, the 5th quarterback, 2nd round of that draft class.
He has a Super Bowl now.
Those guys don't.
But let's not act like Joe Burrow isn't still the best quarterback in the class 2020.
Hey.
No,
I
people
like
saying
Joe,
he's the
Joe
best.
Burrow guy.
No, people saying Jalen Hurts is the best quarterback in the 2020 class because of the ring. No, the ring means the ring is a thing, and it means something.
Though.
However, if we're talking about just straight quarterback play,
Close.
Burrow is still the best quarterback in the 2020 class of QBs. Like there's no these leaps and bounds above everybody else.
Leaps and bounds. I don't know if I'd go that far. I might give him the edge here, but I don't know, man. Wins tell you. Let me see what you got. You got that look on your face, man. I'd love to hear it.
I just here's the thing.
Yeah.
This is my thing. I do this in the NBA and everything else. Look, bro, he got the ring. He did his thing. Hats off.
Yes.
But people are very feeble-minded. So so now we're gonna throw him in this category of because he won. So what if he did the same performance and he lost?
Happened 2 years ago.
Right.
And
now, but I didn't hear anybody putting him in the top 3. Now I got people saying
right,
he should be
lost, but now
top
he won.
3.
That's how championships mean something.
Okay,
right?
so champions don't mean that. They mean that to the casual. So I'll give you a prime example. When Dirk Nowitzki won his title in the Dallas Mavericks, I still had him as a top 5 at that time power forward of all time. It didn't change my standing. It didn't say, oh, he's going to go past all these other guys now because he got this title. I don't believe in that. And I still have Charles Barkley ahead of Dirk.
As you should.
In the greatest all-time list. So this narrative about the ring and, now he got the ring, so now we got to put him above these other guys. Look, I still got Lamar over him. I still got Josh Allen over him. They ain't got no rings. So, when people do this thing with the ring, it irritates me because it's did you not? So, everything else doesn't count? So, just because he played the one game. And look, hats off. He balled out. He did his thing. He outplayed what we say is the best quarterback in the game. He gets full credit on that. And take nothing away. But, dog, when we sit there and we start talking he's better than everybody, I don't know about that, man. I don't know.
For me, all year long, though, it's been the disrespect. He hasn't even been in the same breath people have said all year.
What's the disrespect, though? What's the disrespect? Honestly, what's the disrespect?
To Jalen Hurts? When they were in 2-2, and people said they stood no chance. They wanted Sirianni fired. They wanted Hurts gone.
I had him preseason going to the Super Bowl.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about 2-2, and they were 2-2, and after that loss to the Falcons, and Barkley dropped that third down pass. And the Philadelphia fans don't get off the hook. There were Eagles fans that didn't think Jalen Hurts could do it either, and that drove me insane.
Yeah, because you guys are the most fair weather fans in the entire league.
And that should
every
never
year
in a million years happen. Again, Eagles fans at home wanted Sirianni fired. It wasn't just the outside. It was Eagles fans too.
Still think you do a better job getting rid of Sirianni, but that's just me. Anyways, look, y'all believe in what you want to believe. I'll say this. Let me just say this. We're going to see next year because Kellen Moore is taking the Saints job, correct?
Yeah. It looks that way.
Okay, so again, this magic of Sirianni y'all be loving on, you be talking about. Look, I'm just saying.
But that's what they said.
Certain things happen.
Kellen Moore's his first year. They said before this, new offensive coordinator, let's see what he does. And he won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, and he did exactly what I said they was going to do. So, I didn't say he wasn't going to do well. That was the Dallas Cowboy fans that hate on Kellen Moore because he didn't do what.
Because he should have been the head coach and let him go.
Exactly. That's the Dallas. You're talking about the Dallas Cowboy fans. We're talking about people that understand football, not people that, just show up and say, yeah, go boys, the boys. We talking about people that understand football, okay? Kellen Moore was a good hire. Everybody knew it was a good hire. Now, I'll say this. Are we going to see what happened when they lost Shane Steichen? Ooh. Are we going to see that?
I don't think so because
or Frank Wright.
They inherited inherited internally after that year, which was a mistake. They tried to bring up guys that had lesser roles that never had any experience. There was a first-time offensive coordinator and a first-time defensive coordinator, and we saw how that went. It didn't go well. Kellen Moore at least was a veteran play caller. Before the season, I'm not a big Kellen Moore fan, but obviously, he was good enough I thought he was great in that game last night. Stuck with the run, even though obviously that wasn't doing just to keep them, honest up front. The play action game was phenomenal. I thought he did a great job. And I just thought Jalen played a great game.
No, Jalen was 17 and 22.
He was almost
21 yards.
That interception was the only
2 on the ground, one rushing, so 3 total touchdowns.
Yep.
He played a very efficient game. The stats you showed earlier
told
that. It told you that. But you can't underscore the value of the defense in this game.
They were. They were the most impressive unit for sure.
And Zach Bond should have been Defensive Player of the Year. That's what I think
so
still.
Too, yeah.
And it pains me to say that, but that's what I do believe. But no, it was an all-around great effort by the team. Still didn't have a special teams return, but I was hoping for something like that. But but it was, like I said, it was belt to ASS, and that's just what it was the entire game. And for me, it was painful, but joyful to watch at the exact same time.
Yeah, that's you're right about that.
It's painful because it was the Eagles, because the Eagles fans don't like me and like you guys. I don't know where that came from because I want to say this because pre-2017. There was never a beef with Eagles and Ravens fans. There's never a beef. We cheer for you guys when y'all play. You cheer for us when we play. Now all of a sudden, the dynamic is just switched out the clear blue sky. I don't know where it came from.
Love Philadelphia fans.
I don't know where it came from.
They're the best fans in the world.
I don't know where it came from.
But some of them sometimes, as you mentioned, get a little carried away. Again, Dennis, let's throw the image for Sirianni up on the screen if I can find that one for you. Image H. If we've got it.
Is it showing him crying?
This is showing a lot of, this was Philadelphia fans and all the stuff that they had been saying. If you can see it eventually here, all those tweets about wanting Sirianni fired, et cetera, the past year and a half. And all he's done is just win, guys. He's been one of the best coaches in the league, historically great. He's a top 5 winning percentage in NFL history. What are we doing here, guys? Oh, jeez, man.
This is crazy.
Why is this crazy?
This is so insane,
Matthew, put the camera on Matthew. I want to hear why this is insane.
insane.
He's got one of the highest winning percentages in coaching history. He's been to 2 Super Bowls in 3 years, and he's won one. He's only been a head coach for 4 years. I don't understand. What are you having trouble understanding?
I have trouble understanding what you see, but I mean, look.
What I see W's. That's all I see. What the heck? What are we talking about?
So hold on.
Yes, I will
since
hold
you,
on.
Since
Gladly.
you see W's, since you see W's.
Yes.
This year, okay, cool. But
Yes.
so you said his whole career, right?
Correct.
So explain to me what the hell happened last year.
The coordinators, we already had that discussion. Matt Patricia.
But he's the CEO. He's the head coach.
He doesn't call the defense,
He's the
Matthew.
head coach.
He had Matt Patricia calling the defense.
Wait a minute. It wasn't just the defense. It wasn't just the defense. The offense was bad last year, too.
And who was the offensive coordinator? Brian Johnson, a first-year guy.
So
never
he wasn't
called
part
plays.
of it, though? He wasn't part of it?
You have to get a little bit.
He was part of it then.
He's been to 2 Super Bowls and won one. If he wants
Who cares?
Who cares about Super Bowl? That's why you play the game,
Yeah,
Matthew, for Super Bowl.
Great. I'm saying you talking about he had a hand in the offense, correct, last year?
I mean, yeah, he has a hand in everything. He's the head coach.
Right. So if he had a hand in the offense last year, what happened?
They lost, just like your team and your team both did this year.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, is that what we're doing?
Well, I'm just saying, everybody loses. Not everybody can win. You can't win every year.
I mean, I'm saying
Matt, all right, let's
if you
put an image-
believe
let's
he
put-
the guy, if you
Let's
believe
put
he the
image E on the screen for us, Dennis.
you gonna cut me off. Cool. That's cool. Typical Eagle fan gonna cut me off.
Oh, no, you're going to continue. I want you to see this, though.
That's cool.
Most wins through 4 seasons in
And
NFL history.
you all think he on them names? Okay.
Now go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead, man. That's your guy. Ride for him. I'm just saying. I want to see the same energy next year. That's all I'm saying. Because I'm telling you what, I don't want to hear no excuses next year. If something don't happen, and I think the Eagles got a potential dynasty. I just want to be the first person to say that right now.
So you have
So
I'm an Eagles hater.
I'm not hating because I know how people are. You hating because you don't like everybody on the team. No, I have said since the beginning they got talent. I have said from the beginning that they have a good chance to win. I said it from the beginning this year. So I'm not taking back what I said. I am simply saying that there's certain pieces on that team that are being propped up by other pieces on that team, and they look better than what they really are. Now, if y'all believe Nick Sirianni, the second coming of John Madden, George Seifert, Bill Walsh, if you really believe he on that level, cool. We gonna find out. Because all I know is when the real comes to play, we'll find out. I don't know, man. I don't know if he cut from that cloth, but y'all want to put him on that cloth because of the winning percentage. Cool.
But here's my argument.
I don't see it.
My argument only thing was,
I don't see it.
You don't want to refer to him as one of the best. My argument is for him to even be in the conversation to be fired. That's where my issue was. Like, if you don't want to put him with one of the greats, that's fine. I can understand that. But don't tell me he deserves to be fired. I think that's absolutely insane.
Any other coach in any other situation would have been fired.
From
last year's collapse.
Yeah, after making the Super Bowl the year before?
Why is that crazy?
Because he made the Super Bowl the year before that and was 10-1 that same season that they went on.
But it's happened before. He had a complete collapse, and we're ignoring that.
What he's saying is it's happened before. What he's saying is there's
he act like this is I'm pulling this out of my ass.
Been to Super Bowl, been to a championship game,
and then the year later
had a bad season and they've been out the door. It's happened.
It's happened.
Hell, it happened with Doug Peterson.
Well, it was 2 years, but yeah, with the Eagles.
I'm just imagining this. This has never happened before. Of course, it's happened before. Why is that so crazy?
Then they didn't make the playoffs that next year. This team made the playoffs.
Why is that so crazy? I don't understand why that's a crazy take.
That he should be fired.
that people, I don't understand why people are now, look, he won. So I get why now people are doing oh, see, I told you. Okay, I get it. I'm saying last year, if you took the pulse of most people last year that were fans, that saw what was going on, it's not me coming out saying this.
No,
there was a lot of Eagle fans,
and that was my issue. I agree.
That felt that he should be fired last year.
And
so this ain't a Matt Maurer take. This ain't a rival person's take.
No.
A lot of people within Eagles Nation felt he should have been let go last year.
Right, and that's where my bone is, and that's why I called out those fans a few minutes ago because
I'm the crazy one.
No,
like,
I mean,
dude,
that's
I had a lot of people on my bus with me.
Yeah,
that said,
and like I said, those tweets that we put up there, those were all Eagles fans and Eagles media tweets.
Right.
Correct. Yep.
Right. And now he won. Now it's like, oh, see,
they don't get to. You're right, and they don't get to do that. I agree with you there, and you're right. The media, all of those guys, they wanted him fired. They wanted, like I said, and that's why I had a bone to pick with them to begin the show because some of those Philadelphia fans do that.
The Jalen Hurts slander, I can understand people taking time to go at those fans that had the hate for Jalen Hurts, especially the Eagles fans.
Yes,
but I'm saying Jalen, if we're being honest, he doesn't have the same level of accountability to me that Nick Sirianni has. Nick Sirianni has taken on the CEO mantle. Okay, part of the CEO, if we're being honest, so we can't blame him for offense because he don't run that. We can't blame him for defense because he don't run that. So what is, I'm going to take this from Office Space, famous movie. So what is it you say you do here? Okay. So you're the CEO. You're supposed to gather the troops. You're supposed to keep everybody on the same mission statement and the same push to do for the season. Well, that was his job last year. He didn't do a good job of it. So I don't think it's crazy that people are like, yo, I don't really like him as a head coach. I don't think that's a crazy take. I don't mean, maybe I'm crazy. I don't think it's wild. I just don't.
What do you think, Jason?
Man, I'm going to let y'all have this one. I'm just enjoying it. Look, all I'm going to say is this. He finally got
Coming
one.
from a John Harbaugh, similar coach, CEO type there in Baltimore. Couple Super Bowls.
Yeah, but John Harbaugh takes a little bit more accountability for wins and losses.
Oh, does he now?
No, he does.
Okay.
I'm not saying better or worse or anything like that. Again, I'm not saying better or worse or anything because I've been on this show calling for John Harbaugh's head.
Yeah,
so
I remember that. I remember
that.
Yeah.
Not sitting here like I'm tooting the guy's horn like that. Definitely not doing that. But at the same time, a spade is always a spade. So I don't know. Like I said, he won. You know, you got an all-star roster. I mean, it's kind of hard to lose a roster like that.
Oh, yeah.
All-star roster.
Of course.
And you got most people, like, you're the second youngest team in all the NFL. Half your team is on rookie contracts, which is why Max said earlier.
25 and under, maybe.
A dynasty could possibly be brewing.
But I'm hating.
If the people,
what?
A dynasty could be brewing.
I just have never heard this much for a coach winning because his team's good. I just think that's just such a lame argument to me.
Can I give you a name?
In football? Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'll give you any sport.
No, I want football.
Football? Hell, I'll say Sean Payton.
Really? So you think that 2006 team didn't? You're saying they didn't have talent, or they did?
They had talent, but it was right time, right place, just perfect storm. The Giants. Oh yeah, the Giants. Who?
Well, they didn't have talent either. That's the thing. I think that's an argument for teams that didn't have it, right?
I mean, but it was switching sports. There's a reason why I don't think Phil Jackson's the greatest coach of all time. He's always had the greatest rosters.
There's a reason why a lot of people think that.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Where do you have – I'm just curious.
Yes.
You have a very high respect for Nick Sirianni. I can tell by how you passionately defend him.
I do, yes.
So let me ask you this. Where do you rank him?
In current NFL coaches?
Of all the NFL coaches, he got to be in your top 5 the way you capping for him. So he got to be in the top 5. So who do you have above him?
Right now, all right, let's see if I can do
He got to be in your top 5.
Yeah.
Okay, so who you got above him? And where do you have him?
Division. Andy Reid at number 1.
Okay.
Right now, right? Let me go through.
Yeah,
I mean, if you want to make this, and again, I go based off victories, wins, and losses. I mean, if you want to put Harbaugh in that conversation, they've done a lot of winning over the last couple of years. I'd throw him in that conversation.
Okay.
In the NFC, I mean, I wouldn't be able to go Dan Campbell there yet. He's been at just one conference championship. I'm going to leave him out of the top. I think Sirianni's great. Sirianni might be 3.
He got wins, though.
But he has the same time frame just about as Sirianni does.
Yeah, and he hasn't been to 2 Super Bowls or won one either.
Oh, God.
Why is that? Oh, God, that he hasn't?
Would you say he inherited a worse mess, though? Honestly.
Yeah, I think so.
We all-
I mean,
we know-
but the
they-
Eagles
they-
were not clean when Sirianni got. They were coming off a 7-9
but
season.
the Lions were
They
putrid,
hadn't
though.
made the. Oh yeah,
They
you're right.
got-
Not close. You're right. I'm not comparing.
They got
them.
Hutchinson
Not
for a reason
comparing
in that
them,
top
yeah.
3 pick.
I'm not. You're right. That's a different revival job. I'll give you
Yeah.
that for sure.
Honestly, so if you're talking about top 5 coaches right now, you would have to say
Like, do you throw Sean Payton in that? I don't know if
I
I
don't.
do. I don't either.
No,
so that's how I feel.
no.
Yeah.
You have to say honestly. You have to say Andy Reid clearly right now, active coaches.
Like, do you have Harbaugh coming back from just 1 year?
No,
if you
I
take
mean,
his old stuff?
Harbaugh's still in top 5 just based on what he's done. You would have to say probably Sean McDermott is in the top 5.
I mean, it's close, right? Because you're right. It's almost.
If
It's
you're
a
talking about
similar
if you're talking about
thing.
numbers and winning games,
But again, they have only been to one conference championship in his tenure. Just one conference championship, no Super
and
Bowl.
then after McDermott, I would say it would probably be Sean McVay and then
McVay, McVay. I forgot
McVay
about McVay.
and then
yes. Sean
I
McVay.
guess right now
Sean
Sirianni.
McVay. Yeah, I think he's
guess-
right after
I
McVay.
guess
I think so.
5 and 5A. I would have to have Shanahan at 5A.
Shanahan's a real. I like Shanahan.
I would
a lot.
have
I think
Shanahan
he's a
top.
really good coach.
I mean, that's just
it's close.
I don't know how you
yeah,
feel
I mean,
about
he just
Shanahan
hasn't won a
so
Super Bowl
I
yet,
wanted
but
to
he's
just
been
get
there
your
a
take
couple
on that.
times. Can't take it
I
away from him.
mean, look, and again, I just want to make sure everybody understands this because I don't want no Eagle nonsense. Understand, I'm the same guy that had the same smoke for John Calipari, who I don't think is a real good X and O's coach. So don't give me the crap. Oh, you just don't like him. No, listen, I don't like coaches that I don't feel like when it come to that board that they X and O guys. I don't like that. So I'm gonna be the first person to tell you that. So maybe that's on me. That's fine. So I'm just saying, with Nick Sirianni, I think if we're talking about Kyle Shanahan, I'm telling you right now, I think Kyle Shanahan can throw something cold up on the board. I don't know if Nick Sirianni can throw something cold up on that board. I don't know if Nick Sirianni can, if I say, yo, set me up an offense, I don't think Nick Sirianni can do that. I'm just saying, the proof is I haven't seen it yet. I'm not saying he don't got the ability. I'm just saying I haven't seen it yet. Now, people can call that hate, but again, I have the same smoke for John Calipari. Guess what he got? He got an NCAA title. I can tell you what, when I said that, them haters were out there talking the same stuff. He got a title, Matt. Now, where are all the haters at? It's quiet now. Now y'all like, well, maybe talent doesn't just matter. Maybe it's coaching now. Yeah, that man got top recruiting classes year in and year out and can't get nothing done. So I do this across all sports. I have the same smoke for guys that I think just sit around, look pretty, and do rah-rah speeches. I got the same smoke.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one as well. And another thing, just another aspect of it all, if you remember, guys, years ago, was that Carson Wentz trade, right? Carson Wentz signs a $150 million contract.
Right, yeah.
They draft Jalen Hurts in the second round. Another thing that Eagles fans didn't like at the time because sometimes they're a little off.
I got it right here. Here it is. The Carson Wentz trade.
I was about to say, you know what, Dennis, throw that image. I got it for you, Jason, right on cue. Let's throw up the image here. It'd be C. So this is what Jason is referring to here, Jason. And right, you go back and think about that trade from Carson Wentz to Indianapolis to allow Jalen Hurts to be the starter. And this is what they were able to get. Jason, I'm going to get your opinion on it here. It's going to be image C from us, Dennis, here at home. This is what they got, and you can start to talk about it here already, Jason. But
so
at the time, you didn't think much of it, and then it turns into that.
Eagles players acquired using picks from the Carson Wentz trade. You got Skinny Batman, Devontae Smith. You got A.J. Brown. Then you draft Jalen Carter and the exciting white, Cooper DeJean. All from the Carson Wentz trade.
Wow,
That's
Howie
nasty work.
Roseman, that is
And
nasty
then when you
work.
think about it, Carson Wentz has had to watch both of his backups win Super Bowls
That's
Yeah.
right.
on the sideline twice.
Now, I'm glad you just mentioned that.
And there's the image for everybody at home. That's what they got in the
crazy.
trade for
That's
Carson Wentz.
ridiculous. That's
That's
ridiculous.
crazy. So let me ask you something. Since we talking about that, is it fair to say that Howie did something there that maybe we haven't seen since, I don't know, Jimmy Johnson with the Herschel Walker trade? I mean, that's pretty good return.
That's-
Yeah, and
a great
that's
return.
under the radar. This is the first time we're really seeing that.
Yeah.
People are talking about that. It's flown under the radar.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty great return, and I guess that's like, and look, there's even talk that they might be in contention to get Myles Garrett.
Yeah, we'll
if
talk
they
about
get
that
Myles Garrett,
Man, that's gonna be some bull.
that's gonna be nasty.
Listen, if they get Myles
That's gonna
Garrett,
be
bro,
nasty, bro.
I'll be no more good, man. To get Myles
No,
Garrett, bro.
that's gonna be nasty work, man. You might as well just go back and just count to 2 and just hope you don't get hit. That's gonna be nasty.
Now, I will say this: the only modern day equivalent in any sport of the picks acquired from that one trade, it would be the fleecing that the Celtics did to the Nets in 2012 that ended up being Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum.
And just to that point,
Like,
again,
that's
we're
the only
going off
comparison
topic.
you can
How do you
have.
guys feel? Do you think it's similar to what OKC did with the Clippers and Paul George?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that was a big one, too.
With
Yeah, that
the
was
SGA
nasty.
trade?
Yeah,
Oh.
Yeah, that was nasty.
yeah.
Yeah, that was nasty.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
that
got
was
like
nasty.
5 first-round picks
Got
plus
SGA.
Shea.
Yeah, that was
Williams.
nasty work.
Oh,
that was definitely nasty work.
Yeah, that's there you go. There you go.
Yeah,
that's
that's
it,
nasty
yeah.
work.
And then again, and to another point, we talked about it here, Matthew. I know
Yeah.
you're not a fan of this one either. Was the 5 first-round picks for Rudy Gobert that the
Yeah, that
Timberwolves
was
came up
highway
as well.
robbery.
So, but just again, talking about the defense, guys, they had 2 completions for 2 yards outside of the numbers in the first half. I mean, it was just a complete defensive domination, and they
Yeah.
are the youngest defense in the league. Also, number 1 defense, 25 years old is the average age of that defense.
Another stat. Crazy first half stat for that Super Bowl. Eagles, 24 points. Chiefs, 23 total yards in the first half.
I mean, it is crazy.
They
but
scored
let's-
more points than
but
the Eagles
to your
than the
point,
Chiefs had yards.
Let's talk about that now. Let's now convert our attention. Eagles are Super Bowl champs. It was a phenomenal year. Maybe, and just a quick yes or no answer. Best team in Eagles history.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, yeah. I would say, I mean, you can't say the
See, I gotta be honest with you. Look.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm being biased because I'm nostalgic. I still.
I was gonna stop too.
I still love Reggie White, Jerome Brown,
yeah,
and
those guys.
Randall Cunningham. I still love those guys.
That's
Eric
up there for,
Allen.
you're right, favorite squads, definitely. I don't know if
Yeah,
they're
but
better,
they definitely.
that's, yeah.
I definitely got to give them probably
Yeah.
the most dominant
Yeah.
because they went out, they won.
They won.
But the number one in my heart is still
Yeah, I'm
going to
with
be
you.
that
That's it.
Buddy Ryan squad. But
Yep,
yeah,
that's
this is.
very true.
So
Yeah.
if I'm, I don't know if I mentioned this on TV before, right? So I'll do it so you guys can feel happy, Eagles fans. I started watching football because of Randall Cunningham.
Love
I'll
that.
tell anybody that.
Yeah.
So yeah, my interest in football was watching Randall Cunningham scramble around the vet. So my favorite, if I had to pick a favorite Eagles team, it would have to be the '92 team, the last year that Reggie was there.
Before I went to Green Bay.
The team that got the game stolen from them by the Cowboys with the 4 straight runs on first and goal. Buddy Ryan just refusing to pass the ball. because
Buddy.
the Dallas Cowboys back-to-back runs in 1993, 92 should have been the Eagles Super Bowl. The first one should have been 92. That was probably the most put together squad. I can tell you right now, I'll say it with a straight face. If you took that 92 Eagles squad versus this 2024 squad, the 92 squad would beat the brakes off 24 squad.
Beat the brakes off 'em.
You had Seth joining all those boys back there.
Eric Allen.
Hall of Famer, congratulations.
Congrats,
That's
yeah.
right,
Yeah, congrats
That's a
to Eric
fact.
Allen, man.
Congrats to Eric Allen. That's long overdue.
Yeah.
You
Awesome.
couldn't stop Randall. Like that 92 squad was just different, man. Like as a kid, that's one of my first images of like a full-fledged team.
Yeah.
I would still take 92 squad.
Yeah. But this is definitely the most
Now,
dominant.
this is your most
talented. Or
talent
just, like,
as far as like overall talent. Yeah, it's this squad here, and it's the youngest squad to do it.
Yeah, that's
You
crazy. It
know,
is crazy
so,
how young they are when you look at
like,
it. It is ridiculous.
You talk about the second youngest team in all NFL.
That's crazy to think about.
That's
I
craziness.
mean, those rookie contract deals are going to be awesome
But
value.
the problem is, the offense is fine. You already signed a lot of them to their extensions already. The problem's going to be when you guys start paying that defense in 2 years.
And it starts next year with Zach Bond, who's a free agent.
Well,
I think he has to be brought back. I think that will get done.
But he's not. He's going to go. He'll go team friendly.
I hope
Now I'll tell you who won't though. You better roll out the Brinks truck with Jalen Carter. He's not going to take any.
give him all
discounts.
he wants, baby. That's right. And again, shout out to the other 8 teams that let him fall.
He's not
in
going
the
to take any
NFL
discounts.
Dog, I really think Eagle fans got to understand something about Jalen Carter. I've watched a lot of guys. Dog, he gonna be he gonna go down with names like Reggie White,
Like Aaron Donald-esque.
Yeah. That dude is a game wrecker.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, it's nasty.
It's crazy. He is so good for being so
Yeah.
young, strong, fast, you name it.
And I shout out to Vic Fangio even for that.
Absolutely.
I mean, like
he
he got
grew up an Eagles fan. This is something that he's really
like
wanted.
his emotions, Jalen Carter's emotions this year have been so focused, unlike last year, his rookie year. I mean,
Yeah, I
you give him
agree.
some grace on that. But I mean, like this year, he's been just a killer.
And you know what? I'm gonna give a shout out to an Eagles player who I actually like. Loved him his whole career, his college career. Shout out to BG for coming back and playing in the
Man,
game.
that is-
I'm
and
a,
he's gonna go out
I
as
am
Super
a,
Bowl
I am.
champion.
I will say Brandon Graham would be a player that I would say I've watched since he was at Michigan.
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, so I shout out to BG.
He's
I'll give
one of
BG
the
credit.
best Eagles of all time.
I'll give BG credit, man. He undersized his whole career and just puts up numbers.
Animal trash talker.
Is Tamar Slay on a
You mean big play Slay?
big?
Yeah.
No, I don't call him big play Slay.
I don't mean either.
More like high contract Slay.
He had a great year this year. I mean,
Darius
there was a lot of
Slay.
talks about him
He did.
trading him, and I think he had a great response.
He did,
After
definitely
last
did.
year was a little bit down. We talked about the defense, but he was.
I think Blankenship had a good year too.
Yeah, that Big Fangio changed
The other
whole
exciting
defense,
white,
man.
you know, that's my man right
But guys,
there.
I want to now transfer
Yeah.
the conversation to Kansas City. We haven't
Yeah.
touched on them yet. This
For
is
what?
This is a huge part of it going forward. They were
Yeah.
going for the three-peat. That's gone. And now there's a lot of question marks, right? You talked about Mahomes' stat. He was sacked 6 times. That was the most in his career last night.
Yep.
They didn't run the ball at all. 3 first-half rushes, right? When you're getting pressured like that, you got to run the football, right? That's usually how you get out of it. They did not. They were stubborn in what they thought that they were going to be able to do. They didn't get to midfield until the 3rd quarter. They didn't get into Eagles territory. I mean, that's kind of crazy. And if you put up the Mahomes versus Hurts Super Bowl image D, Dennis, if we've got it, that just shows you, again, just another thing on how these two have been. Those 2 Super Bowls, Hurts has got the better of them. And, again, a lot of that had to do with that Eagles defense last night there. But those are the numbers just in the 2 Super Bowls. As you see, Hurts with almost 200 more yards, way more first downs, 7 more
Nasty
touchdowns,
work, man.
and less turnovers.
Oh, I mean, but the tweet came from Dan Orlowski. I don't trust nothing he says. How do you vote Lamar Jackson first pro all team?
We can get into that.
I'm sorry.
I know you guys you want to get into that here. But we put that list up earlier as Sirianni joins a short list of 700 career win percentage there and a Super Bowl victory.
That's nasty.
But let's talk about the Chiefs, guys, and Patrick Mahomes and company.
They're done.
That's my question.
They're done.
Can they get back there? And then I want to talk about the GOAT conversation, because a lot of it this week was if he were to get the three-peat. Some had him already leaping Brady if he were to do that. I was not one of those people. But a lot of people said if he gets the three-peat, he'd be right in that conversation.
This is that feeble-minded stuff I just talked about. Like, Pat Mahomes ain't going past Tom Brady even if he won one.
I thought so, too. And, I mean, obviously not now was my point. Maybe like 10 years before it's 5 more Super Bowls.
I mean, yeah, he's got more work to do. I mean,
Yeah,
like,
I agree. I thought that was a crazy
Yeah, I don't
conversation.
get that feeble-minded narrative like, oh, he wins a ring, he's 3rd straight, so now he's better than everybody. Like, look, Pat Mahomes in a short time has put up a crazy career so far. He's still got more time to put up more stuff. And look, I will say this. I mean, look, I think he's in my top 10 already. I mean, that's just the way he plays and how he is. He's in my top 10. But when we start talking about, like, GOAT, like, bro, if he won the title this year, he's not going to leapfrog in the top 5 for me. I mean, look, he's sitting on deck, but you got a lot more work to do, man. I mean,
And I mean, too, I mean, and I feel the same way about him. I mean, obviously, last night I think might have been the worst game of his career. And when you look at the stats, I think it was the 2nd lowest QBR he's ever had in his entire career. But I don't think the loss hurts him as much as everybody else is thinking too.
No.
I mean, I'm with you, and that's how I feel. I was like, the win, I don't think would have put him in the GOAT conversation or over Brady yet either. And that's the same thing I feel about the loss. I don't think you can really hurt him that much for how good that he's been, how many Super Bowls they've been to straight, how many AFC championships, and he gets, he had a bad game. People have that.
I don't have
And
Brady as the GOAT either, though, so hate.
Is it still?
Wait a minute, baby. We're going to backtrack.
No. I know who he has still. Is still your guy?
Steve Young, Joe Montana?
No, Peyton Manning. I have Peyton Manning's GOAT.
Whoa, I love Peyton Manning. But that's a crap.
And I gotta be honest with you, and I think this is the other side of the conversation. If we're talking about like who's the greatest all-around QB, is John Elway to me. All around, arm, athleticism.
So I'm glad we're having this conversation live on air because
One of his Super Bowls had
a lot of
Davis,
people gave me flack for saying Peyton Manning was the go-to QBs.
I don't see why.
But I also grew up, so you understand. I'm old enough to have seen the guys now, but I also got to see, with an active eye, the Steve Youngs, the Joe Montanas, the Peyton Mannings, the Tom Brady's, the Drew Breeses, the Brett Welfare Favres, all that.
Brett Welfare Favre is crazy.
So I do have. I actually agree. The way Peyton Manning would manipulate defenses,
it was fun
in
to
particular,
watch, man. It was
the way Peyton Manning would manipulate the Baltimore defense year after year after year after year. Brady could manipulate our defense because Ed Reed was back there. But somehow, even with Ed Reed on the defense, Manning knew exactly what to do, what time
to the eye test
every time.
I mean, I'm with you. To the eye test, watching him was probably one of the most fun watching this play. But then again, he just had those playoff struggles that really just affected people's career outlook. But I think he might be the best regular season quarter. He might be the best regular season quarterback.
But he ended up with 2 rings though. That he actually.
Yep, exactly right.
So he got
no
2
doubt.
chips.
He's got 2, and that's why.
And he won a title with a bad neck.
Yeah, with a bad neck.
Bad neck.
And they
Throwing
shipped him
ducks.
off for Andrew Luck that year again, and he still was able to. He broke the record the next year.
I do have Elway number 2 for me as well. Elway's my number 2 of all time. That's
ain't
just
hating on that, yeah.
like because, man, the way he used to run across the field, bro, and then throw darts, like
He used to leave the crosses on people's chests. He used to throw it so hard.
he would throw darts across the field, man.
Yeah.
And shame on you, the previous franchise in Baltimore. You drafted this man, and he said,
That's a
"I'd rather go
fact.
play baseball." That's why you moved and went to Indianapolis.
That's a fact.
That's the reason why they moved to Indianapolis. They couldn't get a stadium deal, and Elway wouldn't play for him.
So in terms of the Chiefs getting back there next year,
No, it's over.
Again,
No.
Really, both of you say no chance they get back?
No chance.
I just think they got too many holes to fill, and I think you got to deal with the Bills coming up. You got to deal with the Ravens. You got to deal with the. I mean, look, and I'm not. Again, this is gonna sound like shade. I'm not throwing any shade because I'm in the conference. The NFC ain't got the hurdles that the AFC got.
it's true.
And if they were in the NFC, they might have a better chance at righting the ship. I just think with all the talent that's in the AFC, even the emerging teams like the Bengals
I think
that are figuring out.
they'll be right there next year. I think Cincinnati.
Yeah.
So in the AFC, I would say it has to be time for Baltimore to break through. Obviously, outside of Baltimore, you have to worry about Buffalo. You got to worry about Cincinnati.
Right.
And you got to worry about year 2 of Harbaugh in LA.
That's a fact.
Like he's gonna get some more pieces in the
I'm saying,
offseason.
even if you look at those, you say the top 3 teams, as Matthew said, the Ravens, the Bills, and the Chiefs, those 3 alone.
You
And
got
I
the
think
Chargers.
Houston has really looked. They keep
Right.
getting better each and every year.
CJ Stroud, he regressed year 2 though. That's the problem.
He did.
And they fired Bobby Sloak, the offensive coordinator.
They shouldn't
so
have.
That's gonna,
They
agree.
shouldn't
I don't
have.
think they should have.
But I know who ain't we got to worry about in the NFC though. Shout out to them boys. We got to worry about y'all though.
I mean, have we had a show?
OG
We
hater.
discussed Brian Schottenheimer last week. Right now,
Yep.
I'm saying that once, so we don't have to do that again. Well,
Yeah.
today, guys, they hired Ken Dorsey, who's been fired the last 2 years as an offensive analyst.
I love it.
So we'll see.
Jerry Jones,
Ken Dorsey.
salute to you, sir, for the path of mediocrity.
Dorsey?
I
Ken
appreciate
Dorsey,
it.
really, yes. You
The
heard
man who
me
got
right.
let go from Buffalo.
Yeah,
Ken
and
Dorsey.
they got let go Cleveland this last year as well.
That's right. We hate, man.
Ken
again,
Dorsey's
I mean-
been the most relevant quarterback of all time. He was on the greatest team of all time. Nobody gets him credit.
We hate.
Look, he's on the greatest college football team of all time. Nobody gets him credit for it.
Yeah.
Nobody gets him credit for it.
Forgot all about that, honestly.
01 Hurricanes. He was the quarterback.
But
no one knows he was on that team.
For the Chiefs,
fact.
though, I think you said,
No
as
one
Matthew
knows
said,
that.
they got a lot of holes.
Yeah.
Losing Snead hurt them, obviously, defensively in the
Massively.
secondary. I think Chris Jones is hurt. He's getting old. I think you need another guy up front. You need a DB, and then
Kalafis
the
has
most
gotta be signed.
important thing you guys need, or they need to do, is that offensive line. Right? We saw them do it a couple years after they
trash.
lost to
they need
Tampa
run
Bay,
game.
and they
I'm
won
gonna
2
say
straight
that.
Super Bowls. Well, let me ask you this.
Stop having gimmicks. The Chiefs need a real running back. Stop having gimmicks.
But let's talk about
Yeah.
Pacheco for a second.
Yeah.
He was great last
he's
year,
not a running
and he
back,
was
bro.
good to start this year. Then he broke his leg,
Yeah.
and then he
Not a-
came back, and he was not good
He
at all
is not
down the
a
stretch.
true running back.
So you're saying next year you don't rely on him again? You're
Yeah,
looking
I
elsewhere?
think if you put Pacheco in a situation like let's just say you put Pacheco in like Dallas, right? He ain't the same guy because defenses are gonna be like Dak is gonna throw something, and this guy ain't gonna run all over us. Pacheco gets off in the Chiefs because teams got
The threat
of Pat Mahomes.
Pat Mahomes.
Yeah. I just think to his point, they need a guy that defenses are like, we got to watch out because he could break one on us. Pacheco is like an engine. If you can get him going, he can start getting you some. But the problem is getting him going.
Well, and that's, I mean, even last year when he did get going, at least he was healthy. Now he has this injury and he
Right.
couldn't get it back. I'm wondering, like, do you think he can ever get it back?
No, I don't
No.
believe in slight power running backs, bro. I think they break down really quick and really easy. And I
His
just
second leg injury. I
yeah, like when you're a slight guy and your whole game is based on power and running through guys, not being a one cut back, it just I don't know.
And
Long
we saw
term.
him do it with Worthy last year, so maybe they make the pick. And again, a lot of talk has been about Ashton Genty, who is a top 5 to 7 prospect overall, but being a running back, a lot of teams don't waste that first-round capital on a running back. This year they will. The question is, will it be at the Cowboys at 12, or will it be some have the Chiefs? Some have them falling all the way to 30 to Kansas City, which would be unbelievable. I don't think that happens.
Genty's not falling that far in the first
No,
round.
he ain't falling that
I don't think so either.
falling that far first round.
Scatterboo maybe, but that's about it.
Arizona State, yeah. What do you?
Genty's not falling.
Yeah.
He's not falling inside top 10.
I'm telling you though,
I'll say that right now.
I
He's
think
not
a few
falling top
additions
10.
in the offseason, I think they could get back there. Again, to me, and we talk about Tom Brady, right? When he lost to the Giants in 2007 after that huge run he had from 2001 to 2007, a phenomenal 6-year period, he didn't make a Super Bowl for 10 years after that.
Yeah.
Which is why Mahomes' reign
and that's what I'm saying. Maybe
is
we see that.
over.
They would have to be some cold-blooded maneuvering done in the draft for them to get back to where they get.
They'd have to have a Howie Roseman offseason.
They'd have to have a Howie Roseman offseason. They'd have to have like a
Unlimited bankroll.
Yeah, and they'd have to have really poach some really elite talent in the 6th, 5th, and 7th round. I just don't think it's gonna happen.
Listen, Andy Reid got one more year next year, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like this is the Chiefs. The Chiefs kingdom is over.
It's falling.
Olympus has fallen. You know, like, I mean, because when your star receiver, tight end, whatever, 35 years old.
And I tell you what, I think if they won, I think he retires last night.
He gonna retire anyway.
I think he would have retired if they.
I think he'll retire anyway.
He might, but I think if they won, he definitely would retire.
I'm gonna say this, and there was some talk that Travis Kelce was gonna be #1 tight end of all time. No, listen, it's still Gonzalez, bro.
Tony G.
Respectfully.
Like
Well, I'm biased.
Antonio Gates also shout out, just got in the Hall of
Gates
Fame. I used to
Gates
love
is-
watching
Gates-
Antonio
And shout out
Gates.
to Junior playing for Del State next year. You know,
Right.
Gates Junior.
Deshaun's doing some work right
Yeah,
now. He's got
Deshaun's doing
3
some work.
stars and that guy's coming in.
I'm biased. I still think Shannon Sharp is the GOAT. That's just me at tight end. I'm a Shannon Sharp guy.
Sharp, forgot about it.
Only problem I have with Shannon is he didn't block well enough for me, but that's
Hell of a pass catcher. Hell of a
tremendous pass catcher. That's the only thing that separates him from the other guys to me. Only thing.
I mean, Gonzalez wasn't a great blocker either, but that's.
I mean, he was serviceable.
Where do you guys have Gronkowski, man?
So
He's
Gronk
up there
could
for
do
me.
it both.
His name
He's up there
Gronk.
for me.
Who do you, Kelsey or Gronk?
Gronk. It's not even close.
See, I think it is close, but I always thought me leading Gronk was
think
kind of
it
me
was
being the
close?
exception, but I think it's close.
I think
Absolutely.
Gronk is a
Kelsey's
monster,
postseason
man.
numbers.
However, while we argue all of this, who has the most receiving touchdowns all time by a tight end? Antonio Gates, 116.
That's a fact.
Love Antonio Gates. I was a big.
just
I had
saying.
a couple Antonio Gates jerseys.
Antonio
growing
Gates
up.
is still the all-time
He's still-
touchdown
yeah.
leader by tight end.
And again, shout out to him. He's a member with Eric Allen of Thursday's Hall of
Oh,
Fame class.
why are we
so-
talking about NFL? Sterling Sharp.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Y'all better get ready to Phillip Rivers next.
Listen, Sterling Sharp.
Oh, that'd be dirty work. Talk about dirty work. That'd be dirty work.
Phillip Rivers going to get in, bro.
Sterling Sharp, man, 7-year career,
That's a fact.
Triple Crown winner.
Yep.
There was a debate about who was better between Jerry and Sterling. That was a real debate.
No, there wasn't.
That was a real debate.
Those years
there
that he
wasn't.
had-
For 3 years it was.
No,
For 3 years it
no,
was.
no.
Real
I
debate.
think he's in all those. I think he was second
Okay,
during his
Jerry?
tenure to Jerry Rice.
Wait,
in
I'm
terms of
talking about
touchdowns.
Jerry?
I am. No, what? I'm gonna ask you this.
As in Jerry Curl? Talking about Jerry?
No, I'm gonna ask you this. I know
You're not talking about Sidney Rice,
Nah,
right? You're talking
man.
about Jerry
Sidney-
Rice, right?
I'm gonna ask you this.
Shout out to the Eagles.
Healthy Sterling Sharp. Where does he rank all time? A healthy career, let's say a 15-year career.
I'd be top 10 for sure.
Top 10 or top 5?
You're saying if he did that, you're saying.
If he was
had
healthy,
played.
I think
I don't know if we can play that guy.
I don't know if he can go top 5. I don't know. It's a
I
Masters.
think Sterling Sharp.
I think Terrell Owens is better than him. I think Randy better than him.
my guy. Yeah.
You think it's arguable about T.O.?
I think Sterling Sharp probably would have been top 3. Never injured.
He ain't fading Terrell, bro. Terrell is a monster.
He would have had better numbers.
Terrell is a beast, man.
And we're talking
T.O.'s
about
on
listen.
top 5.
And his 3
Most
best years.
physically gifted wideout ever.
His 3 best years came with Brett Favre. So you give him
Brett
8
Favre
years of Brett
loved him.
Favre.
Brett Favre loved Sterling.
Give his numbers, the numbers they were doing back then. Give him 8 years of Brett Favre. Let's say 8 years, solid 8 Brett Favre years. We're talking about averaging 1,500 a year, 10 touchdowns. It's not close.
But the problem is, if we play the numbers game, Jerry going to dwarf him, though.
No, he would be close to Jerry. He would finish 2 in yards behind Jerry. If
During that time
if he plays 8 years of Brett Favre, he'd be number 2 all time in yards.
But we're just to keep it going here as we're approaching.
I'm just-
we're getting there, but it's a good conversation for next week.
Yeah.
Before we go, quick, another Hall of Fame question because we're on the topic because I want to get this in really quickly. Eli Manning not getting in on the first ballot here last week.
Good call.
I think I'm with you guys. I don't think
But
he should have been in.
the BS first ballot, Luke Kuechly should have been in the Hall of Fame.
I think Luke Kuechly should have been in also. But again, a lot of Eli Manning hatred because that day they wanted him in. I don't think he's a first ballot.
So I got a question
two
for
Super
y'all.
Bowls, but let me say, I mean, he was 2 wins above 500 in his career.
Who, Eli?
Yeah.
No, I don't think he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. Oh, at all? Okay. I'd probably, it's close. I think he's a Hall of Famer.
At all.
I think he's a Hall of Famer.
his claim to fame is he beat Tom
Super Bowls,
Brady.
Tom Brady twice.
Yeah, I think that's the claim to fame.
You know what? I can respect that.
So
yeah, that's the thing. I respect it.
So here's why I'm saying this, and I'm gonna say. Let me just say this real quick. The reason why I say this is they don't carry the same smoke for Eli that they carry for other QBs.
True.
So like, okay, people say that I'll give you Cam Newton. Cam Newton can't hit a barn. He doesn't. He's not a very accurate passer. Guess who has the same completion record as Eli Manning career wise? Cam Newton, 60.4 to his 60.3. They say Cam threw interceptions.
Touchdowns.
Dog, my man has led the league in interceptions 4 times, and including, I'm talking about, and no, better yet, Jameis Winston, for example. So everybody talks about Jameis Winston, 30 for 30. Yeah, he just throws. Dog, Eli's got years where he threw 24, 25 interceptions. What? Because he threw 5 less interceptions. He's great with the ball. Like, I'm just saying, like, people literally take those 2 championships and they say that's why he's in. It's like, but they don't carry the same weight with other guys.
I mean, like you said, I'm with you there. If you had to put those 2 guys,
man.
if you're playing in one game, and obviously Eli's postseason, he was magical once he got in the postseason. But like I said, in the regular season, he's 2 games above 500.
And why we still in
2
football?
games above 500, to me, that doesn't scream Hall of
doesn't.
Fame.
It doesn't.
If you're picking one game, and again, in postseason, people might take Eli because of the magic he can do. If you're playing in one game, I'd take Cam Newton over you. In their primes, one game, it's Cam.
Without a doubt. But at the same time, NFL Hall of Fame voters, what the hell did Steve Smith, Reggie Wayne, and Torrey Holt do to you to not be in the Hall of Fame yet?
Right there.
To not be in the Hall of Fame yet.
It's that wide out BS, man.
Like, but what do they deserve? What do they have to do to get in the Hall of Fame? Like, literally, like those 3 should be in the Hall.
So, real quick question. So, Kelsey, right? The other Kelsey, Jason.
Yeah.
Do you guys think he's a first ballot Hall of Fame? The reason why I asked this is because I had a good conversation with my friend Jamal McKenzie. Give him a shout out. And he said to me he doesn't, because I originally thought, okay, yeah, he's definitely going to be a first ballot Hall of Fame.
I would say yes before hearing what you have to say, yes.
And then he started going through the centers and who wasn't a first ballot Hall of Fame. And I got to be honest with you. I was like,
Alan Faneca wasn't first ballot.
yeah, Alan Faneca, Dwight Stevenson, who many people consider the best center of all time. Mike Webster wasn't. DeMonte Dawson wasn't.
Nope.
So it's like when you talk about center, there's some cannons in there that I think if you did an all-time center list, he's not near those guys.
I'm about to piss all Eagles fans off with this one.
Uh-oh.
I want you to give my homeboys some love. I got my DSU shirt on. I still think Jamal Jackson was better center than Kelsey.
Oh, wow. Wow.
He just didn't win anything.
Okay.
I'm just saying what it is. I'll give my boy love all day long.
No, I ain't mad at you.
Jamal Jackson was Donovan didn't get touched. Donovan didn't get touched. So I'm gonna give Jamal Jackson love.
Jamal Jack, DSU.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
close.
that's
The whole
what it is.
first
I'm gonna say what
ballot.
it
Like,
was.
I'm more concerned with people getting into Hall of Fame than whether or not they're first ballot. Hall of Fame. But that is a big. But
Yeah,
you're right.
but-
To everybody else, that's a big deal. It obviously
But
is.
I think-
6-time first team All Pro.
Kelsey will get first ballot because of his personality. It's not always a numbers game. It's about how well you test with the media.
That is true. People like that. And again,
You know.
being a part of a lot of the media,
You know,
I don't know.
It's kind of like Cooperstown. Like that's not. No, I'll keep going.
Yeah, we're going to have a Hall of Fame discussion about which is the most impactful a little bit here.
I'm gonna stop there.
But we're going to continue again, just to put on the bone the Chiefs here again. They need offensive line help. They need help in the secondary. They need some help. They want to find themselves back in a Super Bowl again next year. But with 15 behind center, anything's possible with Patrick Mahomes. Dennis, let's put the odds up for next year. It's going to be F here. This is what the Super Bowl odds are as we head into 2025. So the Eagles, I believe, up there at plus 600. And then it's the Chiefs, Bills, and Ravens. All of them are pretty much at the same number there. So if you guys had to make your bets right now looking at that board, where are you guys putting your money on here as we head into next year? It doesn't have to necessarily have to be the favorite. I know all of our teams are pretty much up there for the most part. And maybe if you want to make some more money, you're going somewhere else. What do you guys think here are these odds for 2026?
You know what, man? before I close my eyes, I gotta see an Eagles-Ravens Super Bowl, bro. I
thought this year
I
we had a
gotta
chance
see
for that.
Eagles-Ravens Super Bowl. But if not, then I mean, a weird feeling tells me the Bengals might go on a tear next year. I don't know
Joe
why,
Burrow is.
but
when he's
Cincinnati might do some.
Got to fix that defense, though. Got to fix that defense, and you got to bring T. Higgins back. Both of those things, they both have to happen.
Money cures all wounds, you know.
For sure.
I like if not Baltimore out the AFC, I like Cincinnati and I like LA.
I would say those odds for Cincinnati
Chargers.
probably are a
Now,
little bit
they're
back
not-
there. Those are two good bets you
Chargers.
can make. I'm not sure exactly what those odds are if we have those.
Like
graphics, but
and
they'd be
NFC,
up there.
I think the Eagles have to go back.
I think so,
to the
too.
bowl. It's just
Put $1 on the
But
Giants.
let me tell you guys. So hey, we can maybe
You'd be
we'll see
rich.
Shador
You'd be
sighting
millionaire.
in New York, maybe. But let me ask you guys this: if it wasn't the Eagles in the NFC,
Commanders.
I was going to say, and that's where I was going to.
No,
I think the Commanders are a
Eagles.
sneaky pick next year.
That's Eagles.
only because
They are up there for the Myles Garrett talk as well. And speaking of which, you saw the odds. So we're going to head into the offseason here and talk a little bit about Myles
I think
Garrett.
the Commanders take a step back next year. Slight step.
Again, Myles Garrett, guys, demanding a trade. Let's ask you, where does he go? Who
San
needs him,
Fran.
and where do you want to see him go? There you go. Hey, I wouldn't count them out. They could be a team there.
ooh, let me see.
Eagles are in the mix. I heard
Eagles are
Buffalo
in the
is in the mix.
I think he might end up doing something crazy going to Buffalo, man.
I think Buffalo needs
I
him more
have
than
the-
anity else.
I have the Bills going to the Super Bowl next year.
Oh.
So far. I have Bills versus the
And
Chiefs.
I have Debo coming to
in the
Baltimore.
AFC Championship. You get the Bills and the Eagles. You get the Eagles back in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I have the
Bills,
back in the
Eagles?
Super Bowl.
Yeah. I have Debo being a Raven next year.
Well, now's my next one. Where do you see Debo going?
Debo being Baltimore, man.
You
They
really
could
want
use
that?
It's coming. Matthew knows.
I'll
There
take
you
it.
go.
Okay.
And so we talked about Myles Garrett, a little bit about
Sweetness.
Debo. I think Myles Garrett, in my opinion, I think he can go to Buffalo. Cooper,
To the fruity.
Cooper Kupp, though, contract's
But, I mean,
not great. He's getting older, a little steps.
Yeah,
though.
he-
Where do you see Cooper Kupp next year? It might be a
Retirement.
tough trade.
Chiefs.
Retirement.
Ooh, Chiefs.
Chiefs going to try to shore
Oh,
that
that'd
up.
be something. And then now the big one, guys. The Jets coming out yesterday and saying they are moving on from Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Glenn wants to start a new culture, basically start from scratch there.
Shocker.
So Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams most likely out of New York. Where does Aaron Rodgers play?
I don't think he plays this year.
Pittsburgh.
I don't think he
I
plays.
hope he doesn't go. I really
Pittsburgh.
Hope he doesn't go to Pittsburgh.
Why
Just
would
for the
anybody
Steelers'
want?
sake.
Let me ask you this. Honest question.
Yeah.
Not trying to troll.
I don't want him either.
Why would anybody want him?
I mean, we saw what
The
he did
mystique.
last year, right?
He still has the mystique for some reason.
No, but for why? And to Matthew's point,
I'm just saying,
he
that's
had
what
the
I'm
mystique.
saying.
So 2 years ago,
Yeah.
right, the first year of the Jets, he comes out, he tore his Achilles in the
Yeah.
first play of the game,
Right.
And then that gave Jets fans a hope for a whole nother year, right? Like, oh,
Right,
now we
right.
got next year when he comes
Right.
back. And this was a rough come to reality this year.
And
where
I gotta be honest with you. We're so like
he was awful.
people are.
End of the year, he was better.
And again, this is me having the same energy for the same arguments. So people giving Jalen Hurts and Jared Goff like slack on their talent for saying like they got talent around him. Dog, Rodgers got talent around him.
He's had it
Jets,
around. Only got one ring to show for it.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Jalen Hurts didn't have the
It's a
same
fact.
MVPs and Super Bowl rings.
It's a fact.
I will also say a sleeper team for Rodgers will probably be the Vegas Raiders.
Any possibility in the Giants?
If they don't draft one,
No, the Giants, no way in hell.
I can't imagine they would. I'm
He,
trying to
want-
think of some other team.
he wants to get out of that stadium.
So I think
at
when
all
you look-
costs.
I heard that Cleveland wants a veteran quarterback. I think Cleveland's going to be in the market for a
Oh,
veteran.
Cleveland?
Why would Aaron Rodgers go to Cleveland?
Listen, I'm not the GM. I don't want this. Is
No,
just what
I know,
people are
I
saying.
know. I'm
but
just
let me
saying.
ask. So let me give you. So that's why I want to give you guys this suggestion here. So
nasty
three
work.
names they're kicking around Cleveland.
Yep.
First is Kirk Cousins as number
Yep.
one. Two is Aaron Rodgers. And three is Sam Darnold, depending on the money. I think he
So,
may go back to Minnesota.
you said
if I'm Cleveland, I don't get any of those. I don't want any of those three
Yeah.
guys.
You're talking about two QBs coming off of Achilles tears and a one-hit wonder. No.
One of those three guys, in my opinion, I'm going to put it on. I think one of those three guys is the quarterback for Cleveland next year. I think it might be
I'd rather
Cousins.
take Kenny Pickett, man.
Oh, man.
Just go ahead and tank the season, bro.
I saw him throw one pass yesterday, and man, was it a bad?
Oh, by the way, let me just say this. The Eagles did some nasty work last night. Let me just say something else, dude. To put Kenny Pickett in there.
Yeah. What? Oh, don't
And
even
then to
get me-
go
oh.
down, then to go on fourth down with Kenny. I was like, yo, y'all trying to put salt in the wound, my man. Like, this is nasty work.
And that cost me big time. I'm not going to go into details,
Did it?
but it cost me.
It cost you?
Cost me a lot. that Pickett fourth down now conversion.
And you know who did that to you?
It took a little bit of the
Sirianni.
steam.
You know who did that to you?
Sirianni.
Your hero, Sirianni.
You're right. You're right about that's the bone. That's the only bone I got to pick
call
with
him
him.
up. Tell him you want your money back, bro.
Oh, man. But again, that Cleveland, we're going to see. It looks as if in the draft they're not going to take a quarterback that early. So maybe a Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter or something like that. We'll see.
Why?
Dion's not letting Travis play for Cleveland. You might want to forget that right now.
I know, but you got. I take Jackson Dart. I take anybody, bro. Like
I like Jackson Dart.
I
yeah.
do too. I was tweeting about him the other day.
I take Jalen Monroe. Like, dude, they
Maybe
need
they
a
can
QB.
do that in the second round, maybe,
They
if
need a
he's
QB. Like,
And maybe they trade out. Like I said, it's gonna. The word in Cleveland, and maybe there's a lot of smoke screen this time
Sure.
of the year, is that they want a veteran quarterback. And I gave you the list. I think it's insane if they go that way.
what? They got
Exactly.
talent.
I don't know. I don't know
y'all
what
got-
they're
y'all
trying to
ain't-
do.
Y'all ain't one guy over the.
Did you look at
Yeah,
Trevor Lawrence?
that's what I'm saying too. I'm with you. And then now
You
you're
trade with
losing
Trevor
Myles
Lawrence?
Garrett.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor
I
Lawrence?
take Trevor.
You
I take
trade with Trevor Lawrence?
Yeah, I
There,
take
there,
Trevor.
there has been a little word of Myles
I
Garrett
still got
trade
stock
talk
in Trevor
for
Lawrence. I
quarterback.
still got stock in Trevor Lawrence.
Still got stock in Sunshine, man.
I still got stock in Sunshine.
There was
I still got
like
stock
said,
in Justin Fields.
A lot of
Fields,
talk.
though, too.
If you're Minnesota,
Yeah.
maybe you trade J.J. McCarthy for Myles
I
Garrett in
wouldn't.
a package
I
like
wouldn't.
that.
I wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't.
I wouldn't
I
do
know
that.
we wouldn't. In the last couple, Russell Wilson's been linked to the Raiders, as well as a few other teams. So what do you think about Russell Wilson?
Rose need to retire.
Russell need. Yeah,
He retired.
I'm good off Russell Wilson.
I mean, like,
But he'll be somewhere next year.
he will be
He's gonna-
somewhere, but he needs to retire. Only because
Also said he's got interest with the Giants.
He needs to retire so he can get ready for that divorce that's coming. Calling it now. Dirty work.
Justin Fields, rumors he could be back in Pittsburgh.
It's dirty work, but it's coming, bro. I'm just letting you
When
know.
he said that, I didn't immediately.
I'm just letting
say,
you
"Man,
know.
he's crazy."
I've
I thought
only seen in my life one guy that became, got retired and still kept his wife, and that's Rodney Peete. That's it.
the GOAT.
The GOAT.
The GOAT, right?
He kept her. You know what I mean? I'm just saying.
The GOAT,
Who
man.
needs Devontae Adams the most?
Devontae Adams.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. His agent. Evan needs Devontae Adams.
Also, rumors Garrett Wilson may want to trade as well. But again, Devontae Adams has to come back. I could see him being okay there.
You know what? I'm gonna say this about Garrett Wilson. He has a talent, but he doesn't have this.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a quarterback.
No, he doesn't have this. He just
You sound like you might be disagreeing with that, Nick. What's going on?
no.
Or that he's.
Garrett Wilson takes himself out of games, regardless of who the quarterback is.
I don't know. I don't know. I think Garrett Wilson is very good, and I think having Zach Wilson and Aaron Rodgers with Devontae Adams there, I think that.
I mean, Zach Wilson is nasty work. Let's
Yeah,
just be honest.
and he's still at 1,000 yards with him. I think that's absolutely insane.
That is insane.
But again, but I can see he had the stuff he says after.
Yeah, like
the
it's like,
games.
bro, like why
Yeah.
would you say that out loud? Like,
Yeah,
who-
I agree with
why
that.
would-
And the same
what
thing with
happened?
AJ Brown. Like I love AJ Brown, maybe my favorite receiver in the league.
Keep reading books,
but,
AJ.
But the fact, like they
Keep
were
reading
up
books.
17
Yeah.
to nothing, and there was that clip of him yelling on the sideline from Nick Sirianni, which again, wide receivers do that. But when you're up 17-0 in the Super Bowl, I think you can
It's
be all right.
Thank God Nick Sirianni was there as the CEO to calm him
Absolutely,
down.
man.
Thank
Shout
I'm
out
glad you
to
understand.
shout out to the state of Mississippi.
Understand now.
Shout out to the state of Mississippi, wife's home state with AJ Brown winning the Super
Miss,
Bowl.
dude, that's right. Shout out to the Tennessee Titans for trading him for Treylon Burks,
Which
Dumb
reminds me, Tennessee Titans.
number one pick, Matthew.
Just burn the franchise, bro. Just go back to Houston, share the stadium with the Texans, and go back to being the Oilers, bro. Because this Titans thing, it ain't working, bro. I don't know what y'all doing over
It's still
there.
hard to believe they got to that AFC Championship or beat the year they beat the Ravens. I thought I could not believe it.
Derrick Henry, man, is all I can say.
Derrick Henry he's a different animal, but now
Dog.
he's with the Ravens.
The Titans need to just I don't know what
Wait.
they need to do.
Right now, before we go to this, we gotta get this
Yeah,
NBA
get
stuff
to the
done.
NBA. We finish off.
Worst all franchise right now, Tennessee or New York Giants?
New York. It's not even close.
I might think Tennessee's worse.
No,
depends after the
no. I'm
draft.
gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why it's New York. Because they're the idiots that sat there, knew they had a Lamborghini, and then let the Lamborghini go to the
In division.
to the Mario Andretti with the Philadelphia Eagles, knowing he gonna drive
the
that
driver
thing.
now, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, dog. And they even said in the Hard Knocks, like, I'd hate to see what he looked like with the Eagles.
And then that
Okay.
happened.
This is what it looks like
Yeah, that's exactly what it looks like. That's what it looks like.
right here.
Then you had Daniel Jones, They picked him 5th.
And you paid him.
And you pay him.
That's the thing. Right?
You pay him.
$45 million. I think he was 3rd for cap space.
Saquon wants 20, and you're like, I don't know if we can do that. Like, what?
Y'all don't want to keep Shayshawn, man. Y'all didn't keep Shayshawn, man.
They had Neal. They took Neal, the lineman
Neal,
from
yeah,
garbage.
Roy.
Evan Neal. So, like, dude, they can't draft for
The
sake
worst
of their life, bro.
And again, you think about a couple years ago, to your point, even worse was when they drafted Kadarius Toney.
Right.
At 20, they traded
That's
up.
your boy, though. Your buddy.
I loved him. I did. He
Look,
talk
I
about
gotta be honest with
talk
you.
about not having
Yeah.
this. That's
Yeah.
where, talk about not having that. Is
I gotta be honest, man. Them Florida boys, my boys are special, man. That's all I'm gonna say.
Y'all need a part 2 documentary, yeah. Y'all need
We're
the part
getting
2.
there, baby. We're getting
Need
back
the part
up there.
2, man.
Let's jump to the NBA to round us out here Monday. Guys, we sat here and all gave our takes on the Luka Doncic trade. Reports coming out that Nico Harrison had to hire extra security. People were trying to go after his house, etc. We talked about maybe the conspiracy theory behind it. Was this actually a Nico Harrison decision? Was it a Mavs ownership decision? We may never know. But coming out here, there was we have the quote from the Mavs owner. If we could put G up on the screen here. And it reads, if you look at the greats in the league, this is a quote, the people you and I grew up with watching, Jordan, Bird, Kobe, Shaq, they worked really hard every day with a singular focus to win. And if you don't have that, it doesn't work. You shouldn't be a part of the Dallas Mavericks. So a few things to unpack there on that quote. He put Shaq in that conversation for being one of the hardest workers that he's seen. So I don't know if that's relevant there. But Matthew, I want to get your thoughts here first on what you just heard from the Mavs owner there. My thing is, what's up with the constantly shots? I know they feel like they have to defend themselves after all this. But they just seem to be hitting Luka a lot with these shots here, the fat thing. They are really going after it. Not only did they trade him, but they're really got some words about him here.
Well, first of all, I know his name is Patrick Dumont, but I think his new name should be Patrick Dumbass because that makes no sense. Yeah. Listen, we all watched Allen Iverson say practice. We all watched this. Did they trade him? No.
And he gave 110 on the floor, led him to the finals.
Right. Shaq couldn't hit a free throw. Okay, and people have said he didn't even work on it.
Kobe said he didn't. Well, he thought.
Yeah.
Never.
He would work himself into shape.
Yeah.
He would show up out of shape and then work himself during the season into shape every year. Did you trade him? No.
Well, yeah, they did.
Well, at the end.
but
they wrote him. They wrote him for some titles.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: if he really felt this way about Luka Doncic, and the names he gave out lets me know he's out of touch.
Yep.
Jordan, Bird. I mean, what? I'm just waiting for him to say Bob Cousy. Like, bro, what are you talking about, bro? Look, I get it. Luka Doncic is a diva, and I gotta be honest with you. I don't like the way he acts in games either. He whines a lot. Yeah. He don't play defense. I get all that.
Oh, it's LeBron.
But wow, LeBron shot. Here's the thing. Find me the superstar that does play defense heavily in this era. With the zone defense, guys ain't out there D'ing guys up hip to hip and checking them, and
you can't do it no more anyway.
You can't do it anyways. But I'm saying, who's the aggressive defender of this era that's a superstar? It's not anybody. Other than Wemby, who's a shot blocker.
The last one was
a good defender.
Last one was Kawhi, healthy.
Right. Yeah, Kawhi.
Right.
The last one.
And I give Paul George.
Yes, in his prime.
Yeah.
That's
but
it.
Other than that, that's it. I mean, and you just went to the finals with this guy.
The same season.
You went to the finals. Just tell me you don't want to win.
And this man is only 25 years old. You don't do that.
We went over the list last week. Like, there's been 4 or 5 guys that have had 5 straight first-team All-NBAs.
By 25.
In general.
Yeah.
LeBron, 40. Yeah. Harden, 36. Let's say LeBron, Harden, Durant, close to 40. The other one's Luka. He's 25. I mean, that is unheard of.
5. Like, my thing is this, right? Fat Luka is still giving you 28, 8, and 8.
Yeah,
like,
man.
Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
But this should be a cautionary tale to Zion.
That's a fact.
It should be.
Well, he should have already got that message.
And here's my thing, though. Zion had never even come close to taking his team.
Yeah, he's never even been on a first-team All-NBA.
Yeah, I mean,
nothing.
But again, we'll see if he figures it out. But this thing is just
But the thing with Luka is this.
To me.
So moving on from Luka, but still staying with Lakers. I'm so glad that the Mark Williams trade got voided.
Let's talk about it. Yeah, it's been voided.
I'm happy about that.
That'd have been nasty work.
I'm happy about that, and I'll tell you why. You don't trade a player of Dalton Connect's scoring caliber for nothing. Scoring doesn't grow on trees. You know, he's an NBA caliber scorer and can score at a high clip. All you have to do is give him minutes. And Cam Reddish is an extra body that you can move around on the floor. He may not be the scorer that he should have been coming into the league, but he can still defend somewhat. And Matt knows, like I know, Matt and I both know Mark Williams' injury history extensively. Right. We knew some team is eventually going to look at them injury reports and then them physicals and say, nah, no bueno, we're not doing this. Mark Williams got other injuries beside the back that they haven't been released to the public
what
yet.
He was flagged for.
It wasn't
it
flagged for that.
It hasn't come out what he was flagged for, but it wasn't the back, which is what
I guarantee you it's probably a degenerate bone disease or something that he probably has that they're not trying to release right now because he's still so young in his career, but it's probably something that's going to be progressive down the line. They're not trying to release out to the public yet. Mm-hmm. I can guarantee that's what it is.
And to your point, I mean, when this trade
Matt,
happened,
tell me, correct me if I'm
No,
wrong.
I think you brought right. Yeah, fortunately.
But when now, I mean, you guys, and I know how you felt when the trade happened. I saw your post there,
like
and you didn't like it. I thought it was a great move for the Lakers. I think, and again, removing the injury history and obviously whatever, but when he played this year, and again, he's played a little bit here. I think he played, I forget the amount of games, but he's played this year.
Yeah.
He was putting up huge numbers for being that young to put up. He's a rim runner. I mean, when you pair him with Luka, I thought that was an unbelievable connection. And again, I hated to see it. As a Laker hater, if you will, I did not want to see him go there. So I am happy to see it voided. But again, who knows what's going to happen now with this injury stuff that I didn't know about.
I'll tell you why I didn't like the trade. It wasn't the fact that it was Mark Williams and the injury history alone. I think the Lakers could have and still could go a cheaper route and get what they're looking for in a center. The Lakers aren't looking for you to score at center.
The market's kind of dry right now.
But the Lakers are looking for a rim runner and shot blocking.
Mitchell Robinson.
There are a lot of that's the name right there.
Well, the Knicks
but look,
and he's got injury history.
But here's the thing though, there are a lot of centers in the NBA today. This isn't our 80s, 90s NBA where centers had to be the focal point. Mm-hmm. A lot of people can only play one way and play defense and rim run. You can find 10 of them guys right now on anybody's bench. Yep. I would bring back Mo Bamba.
Well, he's somewhere, right? Is it back? He might even
no,
be with
he's
the Lakers,
he's
right?
he's on the buyout market. I'd bring back Mo Bamba right now.
Well, a few things to piggyback back off of that, but you're saying, I mean, right now they got Jackson Hayes, right? It's a similar player. He's their center right now. Obviously,
that boy light.
On with the I agree. I'm not a big Jackson Hayes guy, but that's who they got now. But I think that's kind of the player that you're referring to. And generally, you're not going to find many guys, that are better than him in that aspect of the game, especially now with this market now. So we'll see, but. I think that if I'm the Lakers, I think they might be a little hurt that trade didn't go through. Matthew, how did you feel about that trade when you saw it and then after you saw it get voided?
I mean, I thought it was more damaging for the Lakers that didn't go, honestly. I think they
were sold on it.
I think they needed that piece to really compete this year. And I think not having that, I think does set them back a little bit. Because no matter what people say, you need a big man in this league still.
Absolutely.
And you need a guy that can change and alter shots. Mark Williams can do that. And look, again, no shots. LeBron and Luka aren't the fleet-footed guys that you need to defend the perimeter efficiently.
That's the thing, right? I mean, those are two now in his career now. LeBron, they don't play defense really not much at all. Those two guys.
No, and then but I think also this is also the second look. Again, no shots I'm trying to throw here, but this is also the problem with LeBron, is that the Lakers have forfeited a lot of youth to get LeBron in the positions to win. And trading a Dalton Connect is just like when you traded Brandon Ingram and Lonzo Ball
and Josh Hart.
Like the Lakers have to start understanding that there needs to be life after LeBron leaves. And Luka Doncic is a step in that, but now you got to give Luka pieces he can work with and grow with. And Dalton Connect to me is something I think that can fit what Luka does well on the court.
Now let's talk about that trade now in general. It was 2 weeks ago now, I believe, that the world was shook on that Sunday morning at 12:15 a.m. Well, we got to see Anthony Davis's first game in a Mavs uniform on Friday. I watched it because I had to see, just to see what he did in his debut. He was dominant in this game. He was absolutely, he was dominant. 26 points, 17 rebounds, 7 assists, and 3 blocks in 30 minutes. I was watching it. It was just, he was dominating the game. Right. But as we know with Anthony Davis, he's 31 years old. Luka was 25. That's why a part of the reason this trade made no sense was because of the age gap and how much younger Luka was and how much, first team All-Pro, et cetera. He leaves the game with a groin injury in the second half. And it came out yesterday that
Out for a
there's
month.
no timetable for his return.
At least a month.
At least a month. I mean, not only were they getting a lot of heat, guys, for this trade when it happened, I mean, this is a worst-case scenario now if you're Dallas. Not only do you not get – you're already receiving all the heat. Now you get Anthony Davis, and that first half you're thinking, hey, maybe we won't get as much heat after. Then he gets hurt out indefinitely. This is a worst-case scenario for Dallas.
Mr. Glass strikes again.
That's a fact.
Like, we know this man's Mr. Glass. Like,
But after you give up Luka Doncic for him and then this happens, I mean, this is a disaster.
Mr. Glass. This has been honestly, this has been his only Achilles heel. We know when he's healthy.
He plays, he's
we know
he's
going to give you
20 and 15 at
although
least.
we know he's going to give you a double
Yeah,
every game when he's healthy. But the problem is, when has Anthony Davis played more than 65 games in a season?
Has he ever?
I think maybe once, twice.
I think last year he played 76.
But for the first
That was
time.
like the first time
Yeah.
ever.
Like, but also, the problem with Anthony Davis is he'll have dominant, even when he's healthy, he'll have dominant games. Then he'll have a stretch of 5 games where he disappears.
Right.
Well, and if you're, like we talk about the Mavericks, if you make this trade, you're trying to win even, and again, it doesn't make sense to a lot of us.
Oh, win
but
now?
They're trying to make, they're trying
Yeah.
to win now.
Trying to win
And not
now.
only that, with this injury that happens, if he doesn't come back this year, it was already the worst trade in history. If he doesn't come back for the rest of this year, because you're thinking that window for the Mavericks maybe 2-3 years at max now.
Yeah.
I mean, it does not get
So-
any worse. Everybody should be fired over
So
there.
Luckily, they still have Gafford and Lively.
Yeah, that's well, Lively's
Well, we
still
got
out.
Anthony Davis playing the 4, though. That was where he slid in back to the natural position.
Here's the thing, and I talked about this with several people that are in the game, and I said, let me ask you something. If you're let's just say that the management told Nico to make that trade.
Yeah, which I think maybe.
Maybe. Okay? I got to be honest with you. I'm resigning.
Yeah, that's
I
a
don't
good
want that
point.
on my jacket,
Yup,
bro.
No doubt. That
Don't
is
want
a
that
good
on my
point.
jacket. I don't want to be that guy.
And
And
then
the fact that he went to be that guy and then did that hostage press conference with Jason Kidd, who's looking like, he's not hurting me.
he wanted to resign right there.
Yeah, like, it was bad, bro.
Matt,
I'm with you though.
I'm gonna give you the.
and that lets the public know that hey, I didn't. This was not
Right.
me.
I'm gonna give you the equivalent, another NBA equivalent of Luka being traded from Dallas and the franchise going down the drain. I remember in the summer of 1992, in this Philadelphia region here,
Oh, I know where you're going.
the dumbass GM had traded Barkley to Phoenix
Yep.
for Elliot Perry
Yep. Jeff Hornacek.
and Jeff Hornacek.
Yep.
Philly was in the doldrums until they drafted Iverson in '96.
Yep.
That's right.
This is what it's gonna look like eventually.
And then Barkley went and got MVP.
Yeah. Well, MVP the
NBA
rest
Finals.
of the season. NBA Finals.
Had
Like-
against Jordan.
Against Jordan.
Yeah.
Like, Luka's going to win a championship in LA. That's a guarantee. I don't know how soon it's going to happen. But
Unfortunately, I think you're right.
It's going to happen. The NBA has not let him go to LA without him to win one.
Man, we
Yeah.
needed David Stern more than ever. We needed David Stern.
But it's going.
I think the NBA has to have LA.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Like that's a little bit of the conspiracy working in my head. We talk about all the ratings and all that stuff. And again, maybe this just sounds idiotic, and it probably is. But they're like, hey, how do we get the rate?
Guess what?
The Lakers good
I'm
again.
going to give you another conspiracy theory. Not conspiracy,
Uh-oh.
but you might see the Knicks hoist a trophy in 2-3 years because the NBA has to have New York win something. They haven't won
Maybe
in
this
50
year?
years. Not this year, no.
Damn, because I got that ticket in. I hope that. would be
But
a nice
the,
one.
the Bostons, the LAs, the Phillies, the New Yorks. Philly's blown their shot. Their
We
window's
got the
closed.
Super Bowl though, so.
That's
I
a fact.
mean, but yeah.
Look, every
Sixers
Philadelphia,
been hurt, man. The
every
Sixers-
Philadelphia fan, let's just be honest, would take an Eagles championship over a Sixers championship.
I love the
Everyone.
Sixers,
Everyone-
so it's-
everyone.
I think
And
you're
here's
right.
what's worse about the Philly
You're
fans.
right, and me,
Y'all
I'm
would take
close, though.
the Eagles championship over the Sixers
And the Phillies.
and the Phillies over the Sixers.
Not like for me.
Nah, it's
all-
true. It's really real out there.
It's real.
To me, in this point right now, like where we are right now,
Yeah.
I'm 100% would take one with this. I would do anything to get a Sixers a chance. I mean, that is for me would be the most important.
You would over the Phillies?
Well, Philly's got one in 2008. I was there for that. Like to not make a conference final since 2001 is kind of insane.
And you said to not win once in '83.
Yeah, like that to me is insane. Like I've had so much
I wonder-
heartbreak with the Sixers
Wait, hold
over
on.
my lifetime.
Weren't those still taped in '83?
That
Yeah.
Kawhi Leonard shot was on my birthday. To this day,
Yeah.
still. I mean, I can't even look at my birthday
Shout
the
out to
same
Mo.
every year. But
Fo,
like that,
fo,
I would,
fo.
if I had to choose between the three, and I know it's easy to say the Eagles just won again. So like
Yeah.
you would ask me before the Super Bowl, whatever, it would have
Yeah.
been close. I would have chosen the Sixers.
Nah, I want the Phillies.
No,
I'm a Philly fan.
Yeah, I mean, but it's
The only downfall with the Sixers would be that Josh Harris gets a championship, and I am not a Josh Harris fan.
the Commanders probably win the Super Bowl for the Sixers win the NBA championship.
Oh my God.
Want to take that bet?
Dude,
No, I don't want to take
That's nasty
that
work,
bet.
right? That's
that's nasty work.
That's nasty work, right?
Well, speaking of which, we're talking about the Sixers. Let's now jump to Joel Embiid, who we know did not want to play backs-to-backs this year, has dealt with some injuries. Sixers are having a, you can say, bad year so far.
Yep.
It came out over the weekend that he believes he may need another knee surgery. I'm not sure what that has to do with the rest of the season. He said maybe in the offseason, but if he's already coming out and saying this again, guys, is this over? Is Joel Embiid done?
It's done. It's done.
I'm trying to not even open my eyes to this because this is just.
I gotta be honest with you. I don't see how he's not done. I mean, he already came out of college with an injury. You had to sit on him for 2 years. Then you put him on restrictions.
Yeah.
Then he got off the restrictions. He
3
became
great years.
Yeah, and look, we argued like a couple years ago. We thought he was as good as Jokic, and then
Yeah, we did.
now
Got hurt again.
Better, I think.
And now it's like, I don't know, man. Like for some reason, this pisses me off more than anybody because like I know what kind of talent he has, and he's just not going to ever let it really fully come out and maturate and become this mega center,
Shaq.
once in a generational star that I think he really has a talent to be. He just doesn't have the work ethic.
Well, this year's been so different. I mean, not only the injuries, to me, it just seems like the attitude's different. He's not playing. It just seems like something's off this year, and maybe that's how it's going to be going forward in general.
Embiid's been my favorite center since he's been in the league, right? Let's just put it out there. That's no secret. I've said it to anybody. Like, Shaq's body with Hakeem's game. This is what we talk about when we talk about Joel Embiid.
Okay.
Skill set wise. The potential to just. It's the fact that it's like, I don't know what is it about his commitment to a training regimen, a commitment or lack thereof to keeping his body in shape. I just don't get it. You have athletes who spend $250,000 or to $1 million a year for body treatments, like keep wear and tear. It's like, you have the money. Just do it. Like, commit to eating right for a full season.
Well, that's been the conversation for years. Again, this is
Like,
something
protect
about
yourself
this
at all
year
times.
has been off with
like
with
boxing. They say all the time. Like if you've broken your orbital bone twice, wear some fucking wear goggles. Excuse me, wear goggles. Sorry about that. Wear goggles. But
That's our first of the year. Can we go back? We can bleep that out.
but like, he bothers me so much with that.
It's
it pains me.
frustrating. It is frustrating. I will say that
Like,
for sure.
just protect yourself.
Yep.
He doesn't do it. Like, Embiid frustrates me so much because the Sixers could be like, they could have 2 rings right now. Healthy Embiid.
Hey, don't tease me with that because
if he plays, let's think about it. If Embiid plays 65 to 70 games a year for like 4 straight years, there's nobody who don't have at least 2 rings. There's no way. There's no way.
But
he's playing 45, 50, 30. Like, he doesn't play enough games.
We'll see if something changes in the offseason. Daryl Morey has come out and
But
said
he has
that
to
he's
get traded
keeping
now.
him. They're not trading him. So we'll see what
I will.
happens and what they can do because things so far are not working out this year for the Sixers. Closing words here before we finish out. Jimmy Butler made his debut with the Warriors, had a very good game there. Any kind of hope for the Warriors to do anything after the Jimmy Butler trade? Can they make a run the West?
No.
No.
All right, there it is. Closing words, guys. Go around the table. Eagles, Super Bowl 59 champions. Another great show here on a Monday evening. What a season for 2025 as, again, we'll start looking now towards draft season, then the NBA, playoffs, and then the NBA draft. All coming up. Big coming up here for Matthew as well. Guys, let's go around, close it out on a Monday.
Dell State, now's the time. Coach Waterman doing his thing with the men's team. They've won 4 in a row. Spring Alumni Weekend this weekend is Saturday the 15th, doubleheader versus Howard, a red-out game. Support the squad. You see what I got on today? Go Hornets.
We had a chance to talk with Coach Waterman last week. He's real excited about all the things going over at Dell State. He said he just got off the phone with Deshaun Jackson right after I talked to him. So that's great to see them all in contact, all communication. Dell State on the rise.
Yeah. So I'm going to take a real quick time to make a cultural statement here. So I think it's time for us as a community to just understand that sometimes genius is great and sometimes genius becomes mad and becomes insane. And I think we as a culture, I think we have to now distance ourselves from those people. Bobby Fischer, who used to play chess, was a genius, and he became a rambling, insane person who made crazy claims. And it hurts me to say this because this is a person that I had a great affinity for, with their music, what they did, what they stood for at times. But Kanye West has now reached that level, and we have got to start saying to ourselves, you know what, just let him do what he does and ignore him, because at this point, there's nothing else left to do with him. I mean, people have tried talking to him. That I think who lets pornography go at an astonishing rate, has canceled his account because of his rants that he's been doing. I'm just saying, at this point, it's past help. At this point, this is just somebody who's gone off the rails, and unfortunately, you hate to see somebody who was once shined so bright to go off the rails like this, but unfortunately, until he gets help, the best thing we can all do is just say, I'm not going to pay attention, because that's what he wants. And the more attention you give somebody in that position, the more they feel like what they're doing matters or what they're saying matters. And sometimes you just got to let craziness be crazy and walk away.
I thought I only had one last word, but my other last word would be this. If you didn't like the Super Bowl halftime show, you don't understand the imagery. You don't understand art at its purest form. There are so many Easter eggs in those clues of the halftime performance. And name me another rapper who carried a halftime show by itself. Don't worry, I'll wait.
He did.
It was a artistic expression of excellence. And we probably won't see it again, because the NFL is not going to let the Super Bowl halftime show be this black in a row for a long time. We've had 3 straight years of black artists. I hate to say it this way, but we've had that for a while. You're not going to get that from anytime soon after this year. So enjoy it while it lasted. And it was a great halftime show. Argue with your mother.
As long no Taylor Swift. That's all we can ask for
That's
here
a
on
fact.
the desk. Oh, man, but I'm with you. Again, just to piggyback off your point, Matthew, what, you see that weird, did you see the commercial? The Kanye
What,
commercial?
did you see the shirt he's put out?
No.
He put a shirt out with a swastika.
Yeah.
On his.
On that note, we will see you next week. Eagles, Super Bowl champions.
Congrats to the Eagles.
See you next week. Thank you.